Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are very glad today that yesterday was Ram Navami, the appearance day of Lord Sri Ramchandra, and all over the world, all the devotees of Lord Ram, they've celebrated this day with lots of enthusiasm. So that is a great news for us, all of us, that yesterday on Ram Navami, we have got a new book, new version of Ramayana in English. The original Valmiki Ramayana was translated into English. It was translated into English previously also, but now in this edition we got the commentaries of the Acharyas also. So here today we have got with us His Grace Vidwan Gauranga Prabhu, who is the main editor and translator of this edition of Ramayana. So we'll hear from Prabhuji that what is the speciality of this edition and something about it.
This is the first volume of the first canto of Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana has 7 cantos. It has 24,000 verses. It is a very important book that is very popularly studied and read in India. In popularity, it is second only to Bhagavad Gita. Within ISKCON, we have been having quite a few summaries. So devotees naturally wonder why another edition of Ramayana. But Prabhupada actually wanted a multi-volume edition of Ramayana. He wanted to have an edition of Ramayana just like his edition of Bhagavatam, with a Sanskrit text, with the Roman transliteration, with word for word meanings, with translation, with a parampara explanation. Prabhupada used to call it parampara explanation. The Valmiki Ramayana has been summarized by devotees of both the Ramanuja line and the Madhva line. Madhvacharya himself summarized the Ramayana in one of his books, and the Valmiki Ramayana itself was summarized by one Narayana Pandita, who was a junior disciple of Madhvacharya. According to the Madhvacharya line, that Narayana Pandita's book called Sangraha Ramayana, Summary of Ramayana, that was approved by Madhvacharya himself. And it is like a brief explanation of Valmiki Ramayana. Then in the Ramanuja line, there is a very celebrated commentary in Sanskrit called Ramayana Bhushana, an ornament to Ramayana. The Ramanuja line, they study the Ramayana the way we study Bhagavatam. Just like for Bhagavatam, we have the commentators who go into great length. What is the connection between the cantos? What is the connection between the chapters? What are the basic ideas in Bhagavatam? There are 10 subject matters. We have Chatushloki, the essence of Bhagavatam. We have initial teaching in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavatam. We have then finally in 11th canto, 12th canto, it is reinforced. In that way, we have a whole procedure to understand that. So same way, in the Ramanuja line, they also have gone into Valmiki Ramayana and analyzed it in great detail. So this edition, it contains an abridged translation of the Ramayana Bhushana, commentary of the Ramanuja school. It contains a full translation of the Madhva Sampraday's Sangraha Ramayana also. And apart from that, our own Acharyas have given scriptural evidence and some statements about Ram. For instance, in our line we know very well that in Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world, Ram has his own abode. This information is not known to the Ramanuja school or the Madhva school, but we have this information. So this kind of information also I am putting it in at the appropriate places. There is also I am placing some excerpt from Bhagavad Gita as it is in almost every chapter. This is the first edition of Ramayana, and I expect that it will take 30 volumes. Each of these is about 600-650 pages. It has been very carefully done. We have a whole team which has been working hard. It took us 1 year to produce the first canto. Similarly, we estimate another year for the second canto. Like that, we will take another 6 years to complete the entire Valmiki Ramayana. So it was a good work. You can see there are paintings. Paintings are done by a Russian devotee, Rasikananda Prabhu, very beautifully done. Very carefully we did a lot of research Each chapter has got an ink drawing. So it is a good edition. It is definitely presenting Ramayana the way it has been understood. In India, Ramayana is very much read, but it is very much distorted. Like Bhagavad Gita is very much read, but Bhagavad Gita is distorted. So like that, Ramayana is also very much read, but it is quite distorted. People think that Ram is a symbol of the Atma. Awaken the Ram within you. And they talk about all kinds of impersonalistic, voidistic ideas. But factually speaking, Valmiki Ramayana has a simple message that all of us should surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Lord Ram is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are all living entities, His eternal servants. We should surrender unto His lotus feet. And the theme of surrender is what is presented in this commentary, canto by canto by canto. So it is considered a Sharanagati Shastra. It is not just a storybook. Today somebody called me and asked me, will this be good for me to read for my baby daughter girl, small baby? I said, no, this is not actually meant for children. This is a very serious book. This is not a bedtime story book. In fact, it is filled with philosophical understanding. It is like Bhagavatam. There are some other unique features that distinguish Valmiki Ramayana from Srimad Bhagavatam also.
Yeah, wonderful, Prabhuji, for this bringing up this wonderful edition of Ramayana. So one particular question may come to some of our devotees naturally, that first of all, we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we come in ISKCON and in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we worship Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So how much it is, and Srila Prabhupada gave us many books already, Bhagavatam and other books. So how much it is relevant and needed for us to read Ramayana thoroughly?
I have presented this actually to those who have read Prabhupada's books. And if you haven't read Prabhupada's books and you still like Ramayana, I will request you to read the Ramayana, but also read Prabhupada's books so that you understand it better. This again brings back to this point. There is a distinction between Ramayana and Bhagavatam's method of communication. The Ramayana is a kavya. There are three different types of literatures. There are some literature which speak very directly, like the Vedic scriptures. Satyam Vada, speak the truth. Dharmam Chara, follow Dharma. Acharya Devo Bhava, treat your Acharya like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Matri Devo Bhava, respect your mother like God. These are all direct teachings. Then there are some other scriptures. So the four Vedas, they contain statements like this. Then there are some other scriptures like the Puranas, which don't talk directly. Directly means like a teacher, like a master, like a father. They talk indirectly. So there are some other literatures like the Puranas which talk indirectly, like how you would talk with a friend. Because you cannot talk to a friend directly, you cannot command him. A friend will not listen to you. So a friend will not listen to you the way you listen to somebody whom, like, he's not your authority, you're not his authority. Friends are equals. So with a friend, if you want to convince a friend to do something, then you have to explain cause and effect. See, somebody did this and experienced that, someone else did this and experienced that. So therefore it is best you do this. So the Puranas talk like that. Then the Kavyas, it's another type of literature which talk suggestively. They suggest. In Vedic civilization, women would talk to their husbands like this. They would very sweetly, they will only suggest. So Kavya literature suggests. So the Vaishnava Acharyas explain that Valmiki Ramayana uses two methods of communication. It talks like a friend sometimes, and it talks like a beloved dharmic wife. Either it indirectly talks or it suggests. It does not talk directly. It does not talk directly. Whereas some other literature, like for instance Bhagavad Gita talks directly. Krishna directly tells, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. It directly says, Dukhalayam ashashvatam, material world is miserable. Directly he says. So, but Srimad Bhagavatam uses all three methods. Trivrit Bhagavatam Smritam. Bhagavatam uses all three methods. So I consider that our devotees who are reading Prabhupada's books, they're used to Bhagavatam method of communication. So they're used to all three methods mixed together. Whereas Ramayana only has indirect and suggestive and not direct. So the first thing I wanted to do was add in excerpts from Bhagavad Gita so that it becomes Trivrit. Now all the three methods of communication is there. Occasionally I have brought in Bhagavatam also. So therefore the Valmiki Ramayana's method of presentation actually requires that you are well versed with Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So for those who are interested in Ramayana, I recommend that they should read Prabhupada's books at least along with that. Now regarding Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we first of all recognize that Krishna exhibits 64 primary qualities. Now we know that Lord Ram exhibits more than 60 of those qualities. So I will say Krishna is Rama plus. He has all that Rama exhibits and he's got more. And if you study Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you will understand very clearly that Krishna exhibits all the qualities that Lord Rama exhibits. In that case, the next question will arise, if that is the case, then why we need to read Ramayana at all? If Krishna exhibits all the features of Ram, why this is required? So I will explain it by saying, all the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are covered in Srimad Bhagavatam. Still we study Bhagavad Gita first, then we study Bhagavatam. Why? Because directly if you go to Bhagavatam, for most people it is too much. Even though all like Prakriti Kriyamanani verses coming in Bhagavad Gita, you will find similar verses in Bhagavatam also. You will find like in 13th chapter there is a lot of discussion about in Bhagavad Gita the elements of material world. But you will find it in great detail in 3rd canto, many chapters of Bhagavatam describing the same thing. But for a beginner it is all too much. It is the information explosion. So similarly, even though Krishna exhibits all the qualities of Ram and more, for people who want to have a clear understanding of basic Vedic Dharma and then come up to the point of Bhagavata Dharma, Ramayana only showcases those qualities of the Supreme Lord that is relevant for our basic dharmic existence. Because Vaishnavas cannot practice Bhagavata Dharma while engaging in adharma. So at Ramayana level, Krishna himself has descended to teach us how to avoid dharma. We should always understand that Rama is Krishna's incarnations. Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavad Paramah Pumanyo Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Rama is Krishna's incarnation. But why did Krishna come as Ram? To make people teach, don't try to perform adharma, don't follow Ravana. So Vaishnavas, we should also understand that we should not try to follow Ravana even in Krishna consciousness, even to please Krishna. That message is very strong and underscored in Ramayana. This message also appears in Bhagavatam, but because it is an information explosion, we are not able to detect it. We get disoriented. But in Ramayana, in Ramlila, Rama makes it very clear. So it does have a role for practitioners of Krishna consciousness. Now Ramayana can also be analyzed at various levels and various depths. Here I have intentionally chosen to present the salient teachings of Ramayana the way Prabhupada presented. Prabhupada presented Valmiki Ramayana in very, very simple terms. If you read his purports to Ram Leela and Bhagavatam, there are a few verses. Prabhupada repeatedly highlights certain themes only. Ravana is trying to steal the goddess of fortune. You should not do that. You should keep Lakshmi with Narayana. You should not. So in that way, there are certain themes that Prabhupada highlights. So I have chosen to highlight similar themes that occur in Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana. Specifically this point that we should surrender unto the Supreme Lord and not try to compete with Him. So I have dealt with Ramayana as a book that can be studied nicely in conjunction with Bhagavad Gita in order to prepare oneself to understand the teachings of Bhagavatam properly.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Also, would you like to say something about the commentary? Which commentary you are using here and your own purpose that how did you use?
No, I did not write any commentary as such. I have given some footnotes. Footnotes are clearly footnotes. If you don't like me, you can safely avoid the footnotes and you will still have Lord Ram's full blessings. The footnotes are only wherever some point requires clarification. I have repeatedly considered that this is for those who have read Prabhupada's books. These are That is what I'm primarily assuming that the reader is. Of course, I know very well that Ramayana is a book that whole India loves. Everyone likes Lord Ram, because Krishna has exhibited an ideal character. Naturally, everyone's attracted to Krishna, everyone's attracted to Ram. But nevertheless, my footnotes are minimal. I have also, see this, the translation of the commentary. This is an abridged rendition or abridged translation of the commentary. In Sanskrit commentaries, they are written in such a manner that they contain word meanings sometimes. Sometimes they contain the meaning of the verse itself rewritten, something like our translation. Sometimes they contain something that is like our purports. So, in the portion that deals with word meanings, I have directly integrated into the word meanings. In the portion that deals with translation, I have integrated into translation. The portion that deals with purport, I have dealt with in purport. Besides, the Ramayana Bhushana was written to people. It was written by a very great scholar, a very great scholarly Vaishnava. And it contains a lot of material which are sometimes very philosophically difficult. So these kind of portions I have summarized it if possible, or otherwise I have omitted it, but that's only 20% of the commentary. 80% of the commentary is fully here. And there's another important feature about this commentary. The commentator says very clearly that Ramanujacharya, he had 5 spiritual masters, one of whom was one Shailapurna. And in the Ramanuja tradition, we know that he studied the Ramayana from this Shailapurna. So in Ramanujacharya's understanding of Ramayana's teachings, there are 18 specific points. Basically, it is that Ram is a supreme Lord, he is a supreme absolute truth, he is not impersonal. The supreme absolute truth is the person, and that is Lord Vishnu, and that is Ram. Okay. He is not a living entity, he is not a conditioned soul, he is not even a liberated soul, he is God. God is even beyond liberated souls, he is a master of the ever liberated souls. And second point is, we should surrender unto him following the 6 guidelines of surrender. We know there's only one verse from Ramayana that Lord Chaitanya has quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sakrideva Prapannaya, there's one verse that begins with these words. It comes in Yuddha-kanda, Canto 6. Lord Rama is telling Vibhishana that if a person surrenders unto me once, I will take full charge of him and I will give him all safety. And Lord Chaitanya quotes this as evidence that this is proof that Krishna takes care of a person who fully surrenders unto him. And the Pancharatric scriptures very clearly define what is surrender. Surrender means 6 things. You have to do what is very pleasing to the Lord. You have to avoid what is displeasing to the Lord. You have to have full faith that he will protect you. You will have to beg to him, pray to him for protection. You will have to be humble and meek. And you have to helplessly surrender unto him. All these 6 put together is what is known as Sharanagati. So, the Ramayana teaches that if you surrender unto a person who is competent and who is compassionate, and you surrender unto him using all the 6 guidelines, he will protect you fully. Protection means he awards you what you desire and he prevents you from obstacles that come between you and fulfilling your desire. So, various chapters in the Ramayana point out various elements of this surrender. I am not able to explain all this in detail. You will have to read it. Then you will be able to understand it. Many things. There is one, for instance, in the first canto itself, there is one chapter which describes that there was once Rambha was sent by Indra to tempt Vishwamitra, who was trying to become a Brahmarshi. So that time, Rambha actually tells Indra that I am very afraid Vishwamitra may curse me. So Indra says, no, don't worry, I am here to protect you. I will come and we will create one artificial atmosphere of spring, and Kamadeva, Cupid, will come and we will disturb Vishwamitra's mind. We don't want him to get into all this. So then he has given a promise of protection and she also believes him, and then they go. And then what happens is then Vishwamitra sees, he gets attracted slightly, then he realizes that maybe it's Indra's trick. Indra has sent this Rambha to attract me, and then he comes and he curses Rambha that you will become a statue, you will become a stone statue. So now What does this bring out? This brings out that when you surrender, Ramba surrendered to Indra. All the 6 items of surrender is there. But she surrendered unto somebody who is incompetent. He has to be Samartha, he has to be Karunika. Indra is incompetent to protect Ramba from Vishwamitra's curse. On the other hand, there is another incident of one Shunashepa. That also comes in first canto. Shunashepa was supposed to be sacrificed in one king's sacrifice. So he goes and meets Vishwamitra. Now Vishwamitra happens to be his maternal uncle, and Vishwamitra, he gives him 2 mantras, and by chanting those 2 mantras, Shunashepa was fully protected. So this teaches that when you surrender to a person who is competent, then he can protect you, which means he can fulfill your desire. Shunashepa wanted to live, he didn't want to be sacrificed. So in that way, in so many suggestive manners, the Valmiki Ramayana makes you understand the process of surrender, to whom you should surrender. Demigods and others have limited capacities. They may be able to fulfill limited desires. But if you want liberation from material existence, you have to surrender unto Lord Ram. This is all brought out very clearly. So all in all, it is a very, very interesting study for those who are serious devotees. Learning the various aspects of surrender will be a great delight. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very fond of the teachings of Sharanagati from the Sri Vaishnavas, from the Ramanuja line, and he gave a songbook, a complete songbook on Sharanagati, on the various 6 items of surrender. So for anyone who is interested in learning how to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, Ramayana as explained in this manner is a great delight. It is actually a very good book for those who are progressing in Krishna consciousness. On the preliminary aspects of Krishna consciousness, it will be very nice.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I am very much enthusiastic, eager to look forward to it, read to it. I hope you all are also looking forward to it. So you can collect it in Sridham Mayapur, it's there. And we hope so it will be in Amazon also soon.
We will put it in Amazon.in, and we'll also try to dispatch it to various temples. Already some temples have started to order. We are dispatching them. Please be a little bit patient. Some of the books are still with the printer. We are still yet to get it. We'll be able to put it in Amazon in a few days' time. And
also for contacting, we are giving the contact number of the contact person. You can contact with them to get by courier or by other means also.
www.ruparaghunathawani.com. If you go there, you can find some sample content there. You will also find a list of those who contributed to Valmiki Ramayana.
So this is a book, wonderful, nice hardcover book. There are 3 books like this. There's full set, 3 books are there together. So, and inside also wonderful pictures are there, beautiful pictures are there. So hope you catch up with us with this wonderful edition of Shri Ramayana. Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai.
Ayodhya Vasi Ram, Ram Ram, Dashratha Nandana Ram. Ayodhya Vasi Ram, Ram Ram, Dashratha Nandana Ram.